Good morning, everyone. I'm Chuck Ruffing, the director of the New York State Pollution Prevention Institute, and we're coming to you live today from the Golisano Institute for Sustainability at RIT to announce our award winners, and so welcome to this live stream. In addition to the applicants online, we're delighted today to have some guests from DEC. Dereth Glantz, the Deputy Commissioner for Environmental Remediation and Materials Management, John Vanna, the Director of the Bureau of Waste Reduction and Recycling, and Connor Shea, the Section Chief for the Pollution Prevention Unit. For those of you that don't know us, the New York State Pollution Prevention Institute is funded by the Environmental Protection Fund, and our contract's administered by the Department of Environmental Conservation. The Institute's led by RIT, and our partners are Binghamton University, Clarkson University, Cornell's College of Ag and Life Sciences, and Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. The mission of the Institute is to reduce the environmental impact of New York businesses and communities through pollution prevention to benefit the environment, the economy, and New York citizens. One of the ways we do that is to partner with nonprofit organizations to fund their projects with measurable results that can be replicated across the state. Before we announce the winners today, I'd like to ask Dereth to come up and say a couple words. As intro, Dereth's, as I mentioned, the Deputy Commissioner for Environmental Remediation and Materials Management. Immediately prior to that, she was the Onondaga County Resource Recovery Agency's Executive Director. Held a variety of positions, including a U.S. Commissioner for the International Joint Commission. She's on the Waste Advisory Panel for the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. And Dereth well understands the importance of community engagement in one of her previous positions as Executive Director for Citizens Campaign for the Environment. So Dereth, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chuck. I am so happy to be here. The work of the Pollution Prevention Institute is so critical. Nobody can say it better than Ben Franklin, right? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And we are cleaning up stuff all the time. It's my other half of my portfolio is all remediation. So it's all cleaning up the legacy contamination. So if we could prevent future legacy contamination, that would be fantastic. So the Pollution Prevention Institute is just something that we very much think is the wisest place to invest resources to really make sure that we make such a big, huge difference into the future. So Commissioner Basil Sagas asked me to come here on his behalf. We are very thrilled to be able to celebrate the award recipients of today's grants in the Community Grants Program. Really, really important. Each of these projects, there have been many proposals, but the ones that we're selecting today, and most all of them cleared this bar, but then we had to make the hard choice of choosing who to select, but are collaborative, folks working together, because we know none of us can do this alone. So they have to be collaborative and have a broad community impact. So it's not just fixing one piece, it's fixing many, many parts of it, so we work together as a whole. And focus on communities that are the most burdened or susceptible to environmental remediation, are disadvantaged communities, communities that have hosted environmental infrastructure that has really left them overburdened. And so how do we help ensure that there's equity everywhere, and we're all sharing the best infrastructure and not having to deal with any adverse impacts from it. And then the most important thing, and Chuck said this, is these are the grants. They're like the seed grants. Do your project, show that we can do this, and then teach us how we can make it transferable and we can replicate it again and again. And that's how we get a broad-based change. So very, very wise investments. And just, I want to spend a little bit of time just highlighting some of the amazing things that the Pollution Prevention Institute is doing and is so critical, where everybody wants to move towards a circular economy. It's far past time to change the make, take, toss mentality that we have to something where we're responsible for the material from the manufacturer all the way back into returning it to the supply chain, to turning that back into a product again. And to bend the linear make, take, toss economy to one that's more circular takes a lot of work, and the folks at P2I are really on the front lines of making this happen, from supply chain focus to ensuring that the materials that we're developing aren't toxic so we can reuse them again and again, again, and we aren't cleaning up later, and then using the materials that we have that have a much higher and better use, such as organic waste, where we can be feeding our soils again, as opposed to just filling landfills. So I really want to thank everybody for your great work, and I look forward to hearing more about these wonderful projects that are selected today as today's Community Grant Award recipients, and I look forward to the results of this work as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dereth. And now to move on to letting folks know the award winners, I'd like to introduce Ambika Walker, who is our program manager for the Outreach and Education arm at P2I. Ambika.
Thank you, Chuck. Greetings, everyone. As Chuck shared, I am Ambika Walker, the program manager at New York State Pollution Prevention Institute. The Community Grants Program began in 2008, and we are proudly in our 15th year of annually providing New York State businesses and organizations with funding to support their innovative pollution prevention efforts. Thus far, we have supported 129 community grant projects and provided more than $2 million in funding. It continues to be a pleasure to work with our communities towards making pollution prevention a united effort across New York State. Without further ado, it is with great excitement that we announce the 13 organizations that have been selected for the 22-23 Community Grants Program. First up, we have ADK Action. This organization, ADK Action, will work on a project to improve health, environmental quality, and the economic vitality of communities across New York State by increasing rates of on-farm compost generation and application. Next, we have Bedford 2030. This organization will work on a project to increase a tool that will enable the Bedford community members to easily access information on their impact in regards to their own vehicle emissions, as well as personalized resources to support and make the switch to electric vehicles, reduce vehicle miles traveled, and lower their emissions impact. We have Cayuga Lake Watershed Network, who will work on a project to increase awareness and understanding of pollution prevention within the Cayuga Lake watershed by creating and disseminating actionable educational materials to all stakeholders via a new collaborative working partnership between the Awardee Cayuga Lake Watershed Network and their partner, Discover Cayuga Lake. We have Cornhill Waterfront and Navigation Foundation, who will work on a project to engage underserved Rochester City School District students, families, and teachers in active, hands-on, place-based citizen science that connects classroom learning to a real-world experience by increasing participation knowledge and the causes and effects of the Genesee River pollution and measures to prevent it. We have Clean and Healthy New York. We will work on a project to advance pollution prevention and bring the concept of a just, non-toxic, regenerative society to the work being done in the city of Albany. They will also work to increase the awareness of the city's existing pollution problems, understand integrative solutions, and develop a vision for how projects in the city of Albany can pursue their pollution prevention goals. We have Fab Scrap, who will work on a project to conduct a three-phase industry deep systemic evaluation of and identification of alternatives to the wasteful practice of fabric samples and their associated packaging. A white paper containing the research findings and recommendations will be published and distributed to the fashion and interior design industry. We have Green Inside and Out Incorporated, who will work on a project to help 2 Long Island towns pioneer the establishment of food scraps recycling and assist with backyard compost programs. Additionally, a major goal is to divert as much food waste as possible from incineration and landfills, and to create a replicable model that can be followed by townships on Long Island. I'll now pass it on to Chuck, who will announce the remaining awardees.
Thanks, Ambika. I didn't want to let Ambika have all the fun, so I asked if I could finish off with the rest of the awardees. My first announcement is the Greater Patchogue Foundation, which is going to work on a project to host an eco fair that aims to address pollution issues along their waterways. The eco fair will promote best practices through education and providing tools to the Patchogue residents to implement at home. Next for me is the Hutchinson River Restoration Project, which will work to characterize areas and causes of shoreline pollution on the Hutchinson River. They'll work to expand public awareness in the community and its watershed through community meetings, newsletters, news releases, and collaboration on information exchanges with like-minded groups. Again, echoing Dereth's point about the collaboration nature of these projects. Next up, New York City Soil and Water Conservation District work on a project to more widely disseminate information on green infrastructure and stormwater management regs and incentives for private property owners in the city. They'll also focus on outreach and education in partnership with community leaders. Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Garden will work on a project to reduce the amount of trash and, lower the amount of methane and CO2 from organic waste, a topic near and dear to a lot of us. They'll work on various food scrap drop-off sites across Staten Island, and they'll do some engagement with community partners to train and educate young people in underserved communities about the importance of recycling as a strategy for a healthier planet. Next up is, Starflower Experiences, work on a project to educate and train student interns ages 14 to 21 from a local school district. The interns will be empowered to be advocates by this training to understand why healthy, sustainable communities are important and actions they need to take to make a difference in their lives. And our final announcement this year goes to the Syracuse University Center for Sustainable Community Solutions. They're going to work on a project to research the challenges and opportunities for implementing reuse programs and to foster the expansion of model reuse programs in communities across the state. So congratulations to all the awardees. You'll receive an email from us shortly for a meeting to talk about the details of the next steps. Thanks to everyone who applied. There were some great applications, and we're very happy with the awardees this year and look forward to the results of the project. Thanks again.